The Tesla engine in Space Station 14 is very similar to the Singularity. They both utilize the same machines, the same space, literally in space, to harvest power practically infinitely with minimal cost. The Tesla, however, is much more dangerous, and if loosed, it will guarantee end the round. In order to start setting up the Tesla engine, you set it up the same way as a Singularity. In case you don't know how to do that, you need to look for the particle accelerator room pointing towards space. So it'll always be near the edge of the station, or in core station, it's still pointing towards space, but it's in the center of the station. That's a map gimmick anyway. And these particle accelerators are always in different states of completion. Some are pretty much ready to go, some require dragging the computer to precisely the right of the PA field chamber, and some, like this one in Metastation, require just low voltage cables and a screwdriver. Whatever the case may be, engineering is pretty much always equipped to build these from scratch. Well, not scratch, but build the machines from their partially complete states. If you have to ever build it from scratch, you're going to need a little bit of help. But in this case on Meta, if you never know this completion state of a particle accelerator, you can always shift click it, and if there's something you have to do, it'll tell you. Or you can also interact with the computer and scan the parts, and everything that is grayed out will be not ready to go. So in this case, we just add low voltage cables to each piece, and we take our handy screwdriver and we will end up screwdriving it, which the game will also tell you that you must do. One thing that is not directly mentioned, or it is mentioned, if you shift click the power box, it says as a connector for medium voltage cables. All that means is that I'm pretty sure almost every station has this mapped already anyway. You don't have to do this much anymore, but you just have to route a medium voltage cable under this tile. But in this Meta station, you don't have to do that. Stations that you do have to do that will usually have the floor ripped up, so it's easier to see and easier to manage. Just something to keep an eye out for. Now at this point, we just scan, and we are done with the particle accelerator. Some people recommend that you do this last. I say if somebody's trying to end the round this quickly, they're probably breaking some server rule, but either way, you normally set these up on round start, and I don't think setting up the particle accelerator first is ever that big of a deal. Next, we need to head to our engineering locker. On Metastation, our engineering hard suit is in these normal engineering lockers. Sometimes they're in suit storages, but they're usually in the same place. Not really hard to find. So we really just need that, and we are going to need insulated gloves. Make sure you have your insulated gloves on, or the Tesla will kill you. Finally, the only thing we really need from inside the station is we need to get the Tesla generator. It looks like a Tesla rod, and we are just going to drag this out in the space with us. And just to make things visually easier, I'm out in space, directly east of where the particle accelerator is facing, because we need to shoot the Tesla generator with the particle accelerator. This is not an ideal setup. However, I will just showcase this and showcase why it's not ideal. Unlike the Singularity, you typically want to keep the Tesla in a tight-knit containment, and this is not very tight-knit. However, you turn it on just like the Singularity. You turn on all the containment field generators, and you will turn on all of the emitters. You can alt-click an emitter to lock it to make sure that people can't tamper with it without the proper access. We have finished the full step. The containment field will boot up any second. Now, there is one thing worth mentioning. There are these Tesla coils. The Tesla ball will shoot lightning out to these Tesla coils. It's a machine that converts lightning strikes into electric current. This is how we generate our power. However, the Tesla likes to shoot its projectiles at any electronic. In the corner of pretty much all stations, you'll see these grounding rods, a machine that keeps lightning from striking too far away. The goal here is to protect the emitters, because if the Tesla destroys the emitters, they'll destroy the containment field, and you could probably guess why that is a really bad thing to happen. So we are just going to unanchor all these grounding rods, and we're going to move them into a place that is just safe from the emitters. We don't want to block the emitters, but we don't want the emitters to be too far away from a grounding rod, so placing them like this is relatively safe. We can get much safer, but I will showcase that in a moment. The Tesla at this point is now ready to go. I have set it up in a way that the grounding rods will be protecting the emitters, and the Tesla coils are the primary target of the Tesla. So now all there's left to do is to go back inside, and by the way, I mirrored the grounding rods on the other side, because it's a mirrored symmetrical square. Now we just go inside and we will turn on the particle accelerator, and we need to turn it to 1. After a few shots, the Tesla generator will generate the Tesla ball. And there it is. If we observe the Tesla, we can see that it tries to shoot at electrical objects, and it'll even shoot organics if they get too close. If you have insulated gloves, you don't have to worry too much about this because it can't actually shock you. But we will see that how it tries to shock targets. it tries to prioritize the Tesla coils, but sometimes it has to shoot at something else, and that's why you want these grounding rods to protect the emitters. You never want the emitters to get struck by the lightning, because they will explode and then it will loose itself. That is really the gist of the Tesla. And you can see having a big containment can lead to issues, because dead bodies can act as basically lightning deflectors or reflectors, and it can shoot the lightning into places you never anticipated to go. So this setup is safe, but as you can see, the Tesla will start generating mini ball lightnings. The mini ball lightnings kind of orbit around the Tesla in a loose form, and you can see it just tried to shock me through the window because I have this set up in such a massive radius. The only thing really worth mentioning at this time, other than making a safer setup, is that these Tesla coils will break down, and you just have to come out here with a welding torch and fix them, and you fix them just like so. Turn on the welding torch, left click them, you repair the Tesla coil. You have to repair the grounding rods and the Tesla coils, by the way. Other things worth mentioning, but I will leave this in a separate video, is these emitters are very exposed and don't have redundant wiring. You really want to try to make sure your emitters are wired up to at least more than one substation, have more connections so if they get severed in one place, they're not completely disconnected from the station. It's also worth making meteor defenses. I will have separate videos in the comments below on how to make a safer Tesla, how to protect against meteors, and a little bit of section on redundant wiring in those videos as well. Other than that, don't want to make it too long, too wordy. The more advanced guys will be below, but if you just want the basics of setting up the Tesla, these are the basics, but it can be better, or you can discover it on your own. It is up to you. Thank you for watching.